I saw a few things on my way, including uh, the Mars Cheese Castle, which is, for those who don't know, is just has a big sign outside of it, huge letters. It just says cheese. That's how I knew that I was in Wisconsin. uh, I
The
was,
real dairy state.
yeah,
The actual dairy state.
I saw that and I was like, it's real. Like
All
that.
the stereotypes and tropes are accurate.
Wow. Like I thought that it was over exaggerated, but no, they really like their cheese here. Well, welcome everybody. This is episode 6, When God Writes a Love Story with Joshua and Rayanne. I'm Joshua,
And I'm Rayanne.
and we thank you so much for watching with us. If you're on YouTube, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the video. Um, Ask us some questions. We're happy to answer them. We respond to pretty much every comment.
Yes.
Not many so far, but I have responded to everyone. At least I've tried. If I haven't, I'm sorry. um, and yeah, if you're on audio platforms, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of those others, please rate, review, anything else that you can do on the platform that you're on. We really, really appreciate you guys for
And
listening
share.
as well. And share. Yes, please
Please
tell your
share.
friends, tell your family.
You're like, I don't want to listen to this, but maybe you would like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you don't listen to the whole thing, but it might be someone else's vibe,
Right.
just send it right their way.
I think these people are boring. I know some boring people who might like them. Yeah, no. But okay, so episode 5, we ended off with me having just bought a plane ticket,
Yep.
about to be on my way to Milwaukee. Well, Chicago specifically, as the closest major airport. So
Yep.
yeah, um, I guess we'll just start there. So I got on the plane in Savannah, Georgia. Uh, Probably like a 2.5 hour flight. Flew to Chicago, and then I had to take a bus because it's about an hour away from Chicago to Milwaukee. You know, you Midwesterners, of course, you guys all know that. Um, but yeah, so I had my bags. I was on the bus. I
How was that?
It was interesting. First of all, the Chicago airport is pretty big, so I was kind of afraid that I was gonna get lost and like not catch my bus in time. Because I had to buy all the tickets beforehand, the bus ticket as well. I can't remember. It wasn't Greyhound that I used, but it was one of those bus lines. Um, so I was concerned that I wasn't gonna make it in time, but I think I had a few minutes to spare when I finally got onto the bus after I got my bags and everything. But
Yeah.
it
Did you
took
say you're
me,
just like zooming through
yeah,
the airport, like
I
speed
was, I was,
walking?
I was, I was
Yeah.
definitely
Those are
speed
always the
walking.
stressful trips.
Yeah,
Like, I gotta get there, get there, get there.
but you always think that it's gonna like actually leave at the time that it says it's going to, and they never really do. That shouldn't stop you. Like you should get there on time. Um, but yeah, I was definitely waiting for a couple minutes once I got on the bus. And I had to ask somebody where it was because it's super weird. Like you have to like it's the signs like point towards the second level for the buses, but it's actually on the first level. It's like
Hmm.
super annoying. So somebody was able to direct me where to go, some kind soul. And then I got on the bus, and it was about an hour long bus trip. I saw a few things on my way, including uh, the Mars Cheese Castle, which is, for those who don't know, is just has a big sign outside of it, huge letters. It just says cheese. That's how I knew that I was in Wisconsin. uh, I
The
was,
real dairy state.
yeah.
The actual dairy state.
I saw that and I was like, it's real. Like
All
that.
the stereotypes and tropes are accurate.
Wow. Like I thought that it was over exaggerated, but no, they really like their cheese here. Um, Yeah,
Yep.
so that was funny. I took a picture of that and sent that to a couple people, a couple of my siblings. It's just like, oh, look at this. I'm in the cheese state. Um, and yeah, otherwise, there's really not much between here and
I
Chicago.
was just wanting you to tell that story because I thought it was funny.
It is
That was
funny.
like his first impression of coming here.
Yeah.
That's what I was laughing about a second ago.
As soon as you get over the border, cheese, it says, you know, that might as well just be the sign that says "Welcome to Wisconsin." Um, yeah, so that was funny. And then the bus took me to the Milwaukee airport, which was close enough to where you live,
Yeah.
and that's where you picked me up. So what was your day like up to that point?
Well, I got up early and I picked up the car from my mom because at this point I still didn't have my own car. Got the car washed. That was her only request. She was like, go get the car washed and then you can use the car and do whatever you have to do with this guy. Yeah. Um yeah, so me and Sweetie picked up the car, got a car wash. I started recording a vlog because I swore I was about to like record the whole weekend. That didn't happen. The only videos I have from that weekend are of me sitting in the car wash. Um yeah, and then I drove over to come get you. And
It would have been
yeah,
cool if we did vlog
I
the
know that's why I
weekend.
wanted to, but nah,
Yeah, that would have
it
been
just didn't
that'd be a
happen.
really cool thing to have now and like post. We probably would have posted it earlier, but um that would be a really cool thing to like show people now.
Sorry guys, you just have to listen to the story instead of watch it.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we were a little too excited to think about
Yes, we were.
trying to like record
Yeah.
something, you know?
It would have just taken us away from being present with
Yeah.
each other. And that, yeah, there's just no need for that.
Yeah.
We only had a few days. So, yeah, so I came to get you. I had on my white t-shirt and my flowy black and white pants. I remember all my outfits from when we first dated because I had these outfits picked out like a week in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I was about to see you, my nails were done, my eyebrows were done, my outfits were picked out.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready.
Yeah. Just for clarification, we weren't dating at this point.
No, we
yet.
weren't.
We weren't
But
in a relationship
it
yet.
was our first time meeting.
This was like, and
I
we
was like,
did kind of
"Ah."
go on our first like date, which is just like our first time hanging out together, obviously. So yeah, she remembers all those outfits. I don't. I don't remember a thing.
Unfortunately.
I'm really bad at that kind of stuff. I do remember that I saw you pull up in the car, you popped the trunk, I threw my stuff in there. Then we got in and uh,
And it
we're
was a
just
little
like
awkward.
hey, oh my goodness, like give each other a hug, you know. Like wow, this is so great. And then then we were driving through Milwaukee and you were just like showing me, you were like, look, there's a church there and there's a church there and there's so many old churches here. Look at that. That's a church right there as well. You see these? Like Milwaukee just used to have so many different Catholic churches and Lutheran churches and all these different kinds of churches. You were just telling me about the churches. That was the small talk that you made with me
I don't remember
in
that.
the car when we were driving back to
That's funny.
the suburbs.
Well, because the thing is, when you're driving through, you just see the steeples and cathedrals all over the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you see sticking up as the highest point, because it's such a melting pot here, especially like even at the foundation. Here's some fun facts. Like there's so many different people that came here because it used to be a huge like port for shipping things and manufacturing things. So
yeah,
there's Polish people here, German, like different Hispanic people. Yeah, so there's a lot of different churches for that reason, and I just thought that was interesting. Like I was wondering if that was something that you would like notice when you're looking, so I just decided to point it out. I guess I don't remember that, but I can see why I was like telling you about that.
I'm pretty sure that you said a lot of the same things that you just
Probably
said right
like,
there.
oh, here Here's some fun facts.
I don't really remember
I was his tour
exactly.
guide for the weekend.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't have noticed and been like, "Oh, wow, it's so many churches here." I think I was just most impressed with the fact that the roads were so like clear and wide and like able to handle the traffic which was going to be on them for a big city. Milwaukee has some pretty decent road construction going through the main city. It's a big deal, okay? I mean, shoot, if
I mean, I did live in Atlanta, and even with
where it's
all of those lanes, there's still traffic
just
24/7 because
packed.
it goes in a circle, and it's just so silly.
Right. Or even
Just
living
so silly.
in Northern Virginia, the DC area, it's just
Ugh.
it's a nightmare a lot of the time. So yeah, for me to be like, wow, this is a pretty big city and the roads are just
Yeah, and we
here.
just like
Like
got to
we're
where we needed to
just
go like that.
yeah, and it's still
15 to
like that.
20 minutes. Mm-hmm.
There's rarely traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I hit traffic very occasionally, and it's usually just for like just because there's road work.
Construction, right?
Yeah. Anyway, that's all besides the point. So yeah, what did we do for our first date?
Well,
Your ideas.
the first date didn't happen until the second day. The first
Really?
day you came,
Oh yeah.
we pulled up to Nana's house because I was living with my Nana and Papa still, and like you changed or whatever because you were in like sweatpants from the airport. So you changed because it was really hot. It was super hot. I grabbed Sweetie, and then we went to meet up with my coworkers because my coworkers and I had only been working together virtually. So it was also the first day I met him was also the first day I met pretty much all of them. And you like tagged along with me and we just chilled there for what, like an hour maybe? Had
Yeah.
some snacks, like talked. Um and then we went back to Nana's because you weren't feeling good. You were feeling like
Oh yeah.
really sick. So you just like took a nap.
Yeah. I think I was just tired. I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah, you took a nap for a couple hours. My Nana's friends were visiting Sister Lou and Sister Vincent, two of our nun family members.
Hmm.
So they were there. They were going to come to the baptism.
Yeah.
So we made lumpia and fried rice, and you woke up and I fed you.
Yeah. That's right. But all that's boring. So what was our what was our first
No, but
date?
then after that,
Oh.
when we went to drop you off at the hotel, the painting was in there.
Oh, was that the time that we saw it? Okay.
I think so. I'd have written it out of order, but I'm pretty. We went to drop you off at your hotel.
Yeah. So which was kind of like weird. It was sort of a like as a hotel, but it had like a cabin room, just like a
Yeah,
room
and that
that
was
looked
what
like a
was
little mini cabin.
listed on Airbnb.
Yeah, it looked different online than it actually did when you got in there, but
Yeah.
but even still, I mean, I guess like the walls were just kind of like wood paneled, or whatever, and there was just random other woody furniture.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we were looking around the hotel room, and there's art paintings up here and there, and one of them actually had a depiction of what looked like a couple of people getting baptized outside of a church.
Mm-hmm.
Two people in the water with a like a priest or a pastor or whatever holding his Bible also in the water there with them.
Yeah.
And behind was a church.
The sign that said like he is risen or something like that. I have the
Did you have
picture. I'll have to look at it.
Okay. Yeah, that was really cool. That was confirmation for us that we were definitely doing the right thing.
It was really cool, but like also what? I freaked out.
Yeah.
Like we were like jumping around like, oh my gosh, like Lord, like God's like confirming. Like that was crazy. That was literally crazy because I'll look for it later because I don't want to be distracted. It was just really comforting from the Lord because of everything I'd been through preparing for baptism and questioning myself and like just trying to figure out what this conviction meant, especially like coming from a Catholic family where I was baptized as a baby, and like some of my family members just didn't agree with me getting baptized again. So like just things like that, which were hard for me to deal with, things happening at the ministry school and with that old church, and them like being very particular and me not knowing if I was doing it right. Like, I think a lot of the time, still not as much anymore, but especially at that point, I was questioning myself with what
Mm-hmm.
I was doing with the Lord and for the
Mm-hmm.
Lord, and just wanting to do it right and just being very anxious about it. And he was just so kind to confirm that this was the right thing for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have stayed anywhere, but the
Yeah.
one room at this hotel, like you could have booked through the hotel website and they could have given you a different room. But you
Right.
booked through Airbnb and have this specific room, and this specific room for this specific weekend had a painting of two people getting baptized together.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that's not like, I don't want to brush past that because that was a miracle to me. Like you don't just see stuff like that all the
Yeah.
time. And I know that like I haven't shared these bits and I'm not going to right now. This is for a different day, but I had shared things with you where God had done stuff like that to confirm stuff for me, and you kind of shared like, "Oh, well, I, you know, kind of like envious of that. Like I wish that he would, do something like that for me." And I know that that's something that people can feel sometimes. And then he did it. He was like, I mean, I can show you a sign if you want. Like, we don't need it. Not everybody needs it, but sometimes you do. And I think at that moment, both of us did a little bit. And he was faithful to show us this picture. And it was just crazy.
Yeah.
So that was our first day. It was pretty chill. Took a nap, ate, and then got confirmation, and then we went to bed.
Yeah.
And then the next day was our first date.
Right. Which was all your ideas of things that you wanted to
Yes,
do.
because it was our only like full day to like, because we were getting baptized on Sunday, so this was Saturday now. It was our only full day to like do whatever and go out. So I wanted to show you some of the stuff in Milwaukee. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I picked you up and you told me I looked tired.
Oh, come
And
on. You
I was
didn't
really
have to say.
upset.
You
I
didn't have to
did.
throw that in there.
It's the thing I remember. I was like,
Of course, you remember that.
because I was in such a cute little flowy like flower dress, and I was like, oh, I'm ready to like go out and be outside in the heat. And for anyone from a cold winter state, like, and now once it gets warm and you can put on your little sundress, oh, hallelujah, praise the Lord, because it feels so great. So I was like feeling great, and yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't have to say that, but yeah.
Anyway,
So I picked you up, and we went to Public Market, got some smoothie bowls.
yes. Yeah,
Yes,
which those were good.
they're pretty good.
Yeah, public market is just like one of those big places with a whole bunch of stuff you can get to eat. They have cheese wheels at these ones here. You can just get a wheel of cheese, just a
Oh, I
giant.
guess I thought those were like decoration. I didn't know they were
No, you
actual
can
wheels
buy
of
that.
cheese.
You can buy that. That's
I know what you're
cheese
talking
in a
about.
giant wheel. Um,
So you were just
so
noticing all the
I was just
cheese.
noticing all the cheese and cheese related things.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
but yeah, there's also like little like butchers like and meat, and then there's places to get salads. There's places to get flowers, soaps, whatever else, just random kind of
Yeah, it's a
stuff.
cute little hub. So I
Yeah,
showed him this cute little hub, Public Market in the Third Ward,
and then we went to the art
art
museum.
museum. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, there was like a an exhibit in the art museum. The art museum is really cool in Milwaukee. Of course, they change stuff around a lot. Like they
It's
changed the.
featured a couple films,
Oh yes, like
Transformers,
Transformers. Yeah.
and in the space special episodes of iCarly.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. There, fun fact for you.
Little Milwaukee facts. That's it.
Yeah, so there was a an exhibit that was specifically about Jesus, and like I can't remember what like the theme was specifically. Other than that, if there was like a death or resurrection theme, I think it was mostly just like I mean, it wasn't just Jesus either. Like also the disciples, I think, and other biblical
Mm-hmm.
characters. So,
Yeah, and I didn't know again. I didn't know that that was the exhibit
mhm,
because there's like in a lot of museums there's pieces that are always there, like the different sculptures and paintings that are staples in the museum, but then there's two special exhibition areas. So there was one on the first floor, which was that one, and then there's usually one below, which is often a photography exhibit, and I don't know what was down there. So I had no idea that that was going to be there um when we showed up, and this stuff was all just like blowing my mind. Like God was just wooing me. Like it just felt, I don't know, I just felt very at peace, and I just thought it just really stuck out to me that this was happening with us
mhm,
coming together for the first time. Like God was just showing himself. He was like, I'm right here, I'm with you. There was just, we walk into this room and it's just like a giant,
mhm.
like, uh, this sculpture of Jesus like on the cross, and then just so many different depictions from all different cultures of the gospel. And that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, we walked through the whole art museum, and
We also went to the what is it called? The public museum?
yeah.
Yeah, which is also pretty cool. It's just more like a natural history museum, specifically for like Milwaukee and the surrounding areas. Like
Yeah.
kind of just a natural history museum with like, oh, these people lived here at around this time and these people did this and there's
Mhm.
this tribe and this, group of people. And so this type of animal, that was a really cool museum as well. I just like museums like that. They had some really cool setups, some really cool displays there that you get to walk through and see.
Yeah.
um
There's the old streets of Milwaukee too, where it's kind of showing that
oh yeah.
that melting pot of the essence of Milwaukee and
Yeah.
the history of it, like showing the inside of all these different homes. Like this is what a Swedish home in Milwaukee
Mm.
looked like at this time. This is what a Polish home in Milwaukee looked like at this time. And you're walking through like these cobblestone streets and looking around at what the city used to look like.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I'm glad that you got to see that because it's actually not going to be there anymore. They're
Oh really?
yeah, they're switching the location for the museum, and that one's not moving. So
Weren't there also like animals there? I know there were supposed to be butterflies,
yeah,
but
so there's a
there wasn't.
butterfly room, but it was closed because this was still at like the tail end of COVID for Milwaukee, at least. Maybe other states stuff was like open, but a lot of things still weren't open fully to full
Mhm.
capacity here. So the butterfly room was closed, and there also used to be, and maybe there are now, like some like other bugs and reptiles and whatnot. Um, so I wanted to show you the butterfly room mainly, but we couldn't see it. So
Yeah, maybe it was just like a kind of a maybe there weren't any live animals there, but just like a bunch of different like species
oh yeah,
taxidermied like all over the place. So that was cool. I enjoyed that.
How are you feeling during this whole day? What were you feeling about Milwaukee? What were you feeling about being together?
Um
What was
well, I don't know. I guess
it
I
like?
was kind of a little bit just taking it all in, like just a little bit overwhelmed. Like there wasn't really a specific emotion that I can remember feeling other than just like wow, this is happening right now. Just being
Yeah,
present
like in
and just
shock.
yeah, just being there and doing all the things. You being like, hey, do you want to go here? Do you want to go look at this? Do you want to look at this? I'm just like, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess, sure, yeah. Like, I don't know. You're the one who knows this city, so show me what you think is cool, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it too. So
Yeah. I
that's
just like really wanted you to like it here. I
yeah.
was like trying to show you the coolest stuff.
I probably wasn't giving you the best answers if you were asking me like, "What do you think? What do you think?" And I was like,
Even like right now, I'm
"Yeah,
like, so what did you think?
pretty cool, I guess. Pretty
I was
nice."
just like, does
Yeah,
he hate it? Is
I
he
mean,
bored? Am I boring? Is this a fun date?
no, I don't think that it was boring at all. I just think that yeah, I was probably not thinking on a meta level like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh yes, this is a place I would definitely want to live, and um,
Right.
I wasn't thinking about that yet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that was a fun date, and then, or really, I mean, it was a date because it was a day. We went a bunch of different places,
Mm.
and then you took me to the beach that night.
Yeah.
One of the beaches here in Milwaukee because of course we're right next to Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a bunch of different beaches, and I think you took me to Doctor's Park, and we walked down by the lake.
Yeah,
Right.
and then there was nowhere to chill, so then I took you to Clody Park so that we could actually sit on the beach
Oh yeah.
because the water level was just super high.
Mm-hmm. And there's just a bunch of like rocks and stuff
Yeah.
at Doctor's Park. You can't really just chill. And I think was it at Clody where we were getting attacked by all these bugs?
Yes.
Like there was just swarms and swarms of gnats.
They were just following us
Yeah,
like little
literally.
stalkers,
Like no matter where we were, we were just like a cloud of
like
of
above our
gnats
heads.
everywhere. Like Pigpen from
Mm.
um
Oh,
from
from
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, but we're not like dirty. They just
No, but
there.
that's how you feel when there's just like a cloud
Yeah, you
of
feel
bugs
just like,
around your
oh,
head. You're like,
nasty.
why do you like me right now? Um, yeah, so that was fun. And then we went to because you were that night and that whole weekend you were also house sitting for a friend.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we got to go over there
Yeah.
and
Hang out with
hang
your
out.
cat.
Yes, which was great for me as someone who was missing my cat. Um, so I got to pet a kitty, and we spent that night praying with each other. That was like our first time really praying together like that.
Mm-hmm.
When
That was an intense prayer.
yeah,
We were praying for a long time.
hmm yeah, we were.
I was nervous
Why?
because you, because you sat across from me and you like immediately grabbed my hand and I was like,
Oh yeah, I was holding your hands
like
like
this.
this.
And I was like, this is weird. I've never held hands with somebody while I was praying, like not in that way. This is the way I prayed by myself, or like if we were on the phone or on a Zoom call with other people where I'm walking around the room on my own, not like with someone in my presence. Cause I still like
Mhm.
wasn't this was before I started going to the church that we currently go to, so I wasn't with other believers in person a lot doing things like this. I was so used to doing it on my own, and especially not with somebody that I had these feelings for and this attraction to. So I was a little nervous.
Keep in mind, I still didn't know that she had those kind of feelings and attractions because she had just recently kind of shut down um my like sort of second attempt at
I think you
you
knew,
know
but like you didn't know if it was okay to like act on it
right right
because of
because
everything that
you
just
yeah
happened
everything that just
with
happened and the
Sam
fact that you
and
were just like no we need to just commit ourselves to God, like this isn't it's the timing is not right. was kind of, and
Yeah.
you were pretty adamant about that,
Yeah.
I think.
Because I
So
didn't
I
yeah,
was
I
just
just
like,
didn't know.
okay, this is totally platonic. This holding hands. This is just us sharing a moment with God. You know, it's not like I was trying to like, you know, just somehow imagine a scenario where I can
I can hold her
hold your
hand.
hand.
I can't wait to pray so I can hold her
Yeah.
hand later.
Oh my goodness, man. Like this day is fun. This museum's cool, but man, can we get to praying so that I can hold her hand? Um, no, not what
Yeah.
was going through my mind. But yeah, then I mean, we obviously didn't just sit there for we were up, pacing around and laying down and
Yeah, we weren't just
praying.
like
We were
holding
just
hands the
praying.
whole time. That was just how we opened up. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it's kind of back to like that of what you just said. I think that for me, this weekend was a little different for you because for me, it was like, okay, maybe this is the person that I want to be with. Maybe the timing is right. Like, God was showing me all these things. Like, He's leading me in prayer. Like, when we go places, God is showing that He's with us when we're together. He's literally here
Mm.
to get baptized and publicly declare His faith in Jesus Christ. Like, all these things were green flags that and green lights that God was showing me and the way that I felt when I was around you. I was like, okay, I was getting pretty overwhelmed and I was a little anxious. I was wondering if you were going to do anything. So I was like, well, maybe he's still going to like pursue me and try to like make a move. But you were being so respectful. And I was like, oh, he's just being very respectful. He doesn't even know. So it's probably on me, like the ball's in my court. So, all these thoughts were going through my head the whole weekend. And obviously I still wanted to keep God first because this was the weekend I was getting baptized. Like he was the priority, but like you were the person with me while I was prioritizing
Mm.
him. And and the way I felt about that was really sticking out to me. So it's kind of funny to talk about it now because it was becoming all the more clear in my mind, but you didn't know that quite yet.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't read your mind,
when I
so I didn't know.
because when I reflect on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so like it was so cute, and his hair was so curly and nice and long, and I was wearing my little dress, trying to be so pretty and all these things, but it was definitely different for you, like in that moment. So it's just kind of funny
Mm-hmm.
to talk about because I
Well,
was still keeping it to myself because I was
yeah.
like, I don't want
Right.
it to turn into that. I want
Right.
it to still be about God. So I wasn't like mentioning
And
it
I didn't
yet.
want to just like assume your intention and be like, oh, she's like really trying to look cute for me. Look at her. Like
Right.
that
I mean,
just
I like
didn't feel
looking
like,
cute for myself too, but
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
When you
didn't
go
know.
on a date, you get dressed up. We
I
didn't
didn't
even
know either.
call it a date, but now we call it a date.
Right.
But yeah, so
Um,
yeah,
I think,
that
there
was
was also kind of another sign or something when we were leaving, that house,
to
which
take you to the hotel.
which I don't even really know how to, like, what it actually was.
That
Um,
was weird.
it was super weird. Did you even see it or
I
like,
briefly saw the end of it
yeah.
because so I was grabbing a couple things to take out to the road for her, and then I was grabbing her mail, so I was kind of preoccupied before we got back in the car to drive you because there was just different things I needed to do for her while she was gone, so I wasn't fully paying attention.
Yeah.
But
No, it was weird, and obviously we had just, gotten out of an intense prayer sesh, so just feeling kind of very light spiritually.
oh yeah,
Um and there was just this like series of lights in the sky, like one after the other, kind of like looking like really slow shooting stars that just like, okay, there's one and then it sort of disappears, and then one in the same line and it disappears, and in the same line and it disappears. And there was like, I saw that for like 6 or 7 in a row, and I was just like, what is that? Like, do you see that? And then, yeah, I think you caught
got the
the
tail
tail
end
end,
of
because at
it.
first I was looking up and I was like trying to figure out what it was. But then when I realized I couldn't figure out what it was. That's when I was like, this is super duper weird. Um, and I was like, man, is there gonna be like a UFO sighting or something in the news like later?
There wasn't.
No, there wasn't. You know, unless the government's just trying to keep it a secret.
All right, stop, stop,
Yeah, yeah,
stop.
okay. Yeah. You don't want to get this video flagged and taken down. Uh, anyway. um, but yeah, that was really cool. I really felt like that was kind of a sign from God, just you know, like that He was showing me something. I don't know what the interpretation would be, but just that it was like a
The
cool thing.
stars
It was just for
aligning,
me. Yeah, yeah,
especially while they're like in action.
right.
You know, just
Aligning, moving, things moving. In a very specific direction and pace. Yeah. So that was kind of cool and also weird. And then yeah, you dropped me back off at the hotel. Um, and I think that was it. And I don't think we talked to each other after
mm-mm.
that until the next day, which was the baptism day.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
So we were gonna get baptized in Lake Michigan. Um,
Yep.
which people do a lot here too. Our church that we go to now also baptizes people in Lake Michigan. Um, I gotta tell you one thing about getting baptized in Lake Michigan, which I was prepared for because you were preparing me for it.
Yes, because you're a cold boy.
Yes, I get very cold very easily, and you told me that Lake Michigan water is very, very cold. It's basically like the ocean. I mean, it's a gigantic body of water. It looks like the ocean when you're next to it. Like you can't see the opposite shoreline at all. It's way, way too far. Even if you're really high up, like you can't see it. So it looks like it's just the ocean. It goes on, the water just goes on
That's
forever.
what everybody says when they come to visit.
Yeah, because that's what it looks like. It's the only other thing you can compare it to because it's most people's biggest body of water that they've seen is the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's so large and it has currents and wave patterns and like all the same things that the ocean would have, um it's very, very cold. It's also deep, you know what I mean? The sun's really not warming it up that much.
Yeah.
That water stays cold. So I was preparing for this, but that morning at least, was really nice. We were outside. We were sitting on a
Sun was
towel. Sun
shining. It
was
was
sun was
warm.
shining. We were watching a sermon,
Mm.
and just like because it was Flood Sunday,
Yep.
so a bunch of other people were getting baptized as well.
Can't remember if we mentioned that already, but
I think we I think we briefly mentioned, yes, that we were getting baptized as well as part of like a nationwide baptism Sunday, Flood Sunday, being hosted by Transformation Church.
yeah.
Um, and so we were watching that morning like sermon. He was baptizing some people at his house.
Mm-hmm.
There were hundreds of other locations where people were getting baptized throughout the
Kind
nation.
of similar to us, where
Yeah,
people were coming together to do that. People were getting baptized in their bathtubs,
yeah,
in their pools,
yeah,
at a little pond, like wherever they could find some water, in a baptism pool, wherever.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was really cool. My friend Tati, my big sister, shout out Tati, was one of the women who baptized us. And I met her through a small group that connected through Transformation Church's website. We all like participated in watching their sermons over the last few years or whatever. So that was how I knew her. So it was my first time meeting her, and I think that was the year where the word of the year that God gave to Pastor Mike was anchored.
Mhm.
Like, to
It
be
was.
anchored in the Lord, to be anchored in the deep, to be anchored in the storm of life, like to be anchored to Jesus Christ. And I've been singing anchors a lot. I have a whole album on my phone of just like confirmation of that word, because like I always ask God, I'm like, if a teacher's saying something, like I'm still gonna bring it back to you. I still need to know that you actually did say that to them and not just like trust man over Lord. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she was driving on her way up and she was seeing anchors on people's like bumpers and on their back windshield, and she just was very much feeling some confirmation as well and just feeling peace about it. So that was pretty cool. We were just hanging out with her watching that, and then
Mm-hmm. And some of your family was
my
there
family
as
came.
well.
Then my family came after that. So
Yeah.
sisters, Nana, my godmother, my parents, and my brother, and my two cousins, because my aunt was
Mm-hmm.
the other woman who was coming to baptize us. She had been my main spiritual mother and had been discipling me since
Mm-hmm.
I'd been saved, and it was just really meaningful to have them both there, and that was just really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it was sunny, and then
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we were
yeah,
all gathered around, and Natalie read from Romans 6, I believe, or 7. Can't remember. It's
I don't remember.
one of those two, but she read the whole chapter. I should really know this. Yeah, you can look it up. Um, the chapter that says, if then we have grace, like should we go on sinning so that grace may abound? By no means. Um, so yes, yes.
Yep,
Romans
this is
6.
what I read for the other girl's baptism too.
Yes. It is, and
Romans 6.
it's a good
Dead to sin,
passage.
alive to God is the header in the ESV.
Yeah. Amen. So she was reading that, and then we were praying, and as we were praying, I can't remember if it was as we were praying or like right when we said amen, the whole
It was as we were
sky
praying. It started.
just changed, like,
Mm-hmm.
because and you could even see, like, looking out over the water, the sunlight just like being overtaken by a shadow
Mm-hmm.
and like very suddenly that came over us because it and then it was windy, and then it started raining, and it was cold, and it was just like just a really wild change of weather, and it felt really like it was just God being there
Yeah.
in some way.
I'm
um
sorry, I'm crying. For the people on audio who can't see me crying, gasping into the mic.
so that was really interesting. And then it was time to get in the water, and you went first.
I'm sorry, I'm just having a moment, just thinking about this and thinking about that word of the year and the fact that like Pastor Mike like invited people to have this public declaration of their faith through water baptism. Like obviously like, we'd been baptized with the Holy Spirit when we received Jesus Christ. He sent us his spirit, but like this was like sorry. The thought that's coming to my mind right now, like in picturing it and thinking about it and reliving it as we tell it, is like kind of God inviting you to hold his hand in the storm and to keep your face focused on him, just like Peter. Like to have that faith in him no matter what's surrounding you.
Right.
Like, will you be anchored to him? Will you keep your face focused on him? Will you have faith even when things go wrong, even in the middle of the storm, even if there's trials, even if it's hard? Like, because that is what it means to walk with the Lord. Like, will you trust him? And I definitely think, he showed himself, but that's kind of what it's meaning to me right now as I'm reflecting on it. And that's just a really special thing because that's definitely been a theme in my faith journey.
Yeah.
So that really means a lot when I think about it. That's why I'm having a moment. So
to me, it just kind of reminds me that, and I think we talked about this after too, that like bad weather, a storm doesn't necessarily mean that you're on the wrong path. You
Mm.
know, it can. You could be
Mhm.
like Jonah, but you could also be like Paul, who ended up in many storms, was shipwrecked a bunch of times, but was going the right direction, or the disciples who were doing exactly what Jesus told them to do and ended up in a storm just so that he could get the glory for it.
Yes.
So yeah, that was a really cool moment. But it got cold quick, which sucked
Oh my gosh, it
because
was so cold.
then we got in the water and I was just telling them like, please, just do it quickly. Um, and so that she was like, okay, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Like, and then I was running back out of the water. Um, so it was great, and there's pictures of us. We were smiling, but we were also
Like huddled in
shivering,
our
huddling in
towels,
our
like
towels because suddenly there was a bunch of
screaming.
wind. The sun was
Mhm.
gone. It was raining because in that morning we were like, oh, this is gonna be like we'll be able to get out and like warm up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
fortunately, that was not the case. Um, but it was still cool. Like, you know, God was definitely there in that moment.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
that was
beautiful.
really special.
Really crazy. And then Tati had to leave to go back for something at her mom's house, so she wasn't able to come back to my family's house with us. Um, but she called me after she had pulled off because she was still listening to the sermon as she got back in the car. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like it's raining there too." It was storming in Oklahoma where the pastor's church was, and it was storming and raining over them as they were getting baptized in the pool. And God just was like confirming that, he was there with all of us, like
Mm-hmm.
hundreds and hundreds of miles away. I don't even know how far that is from here, but it's clearly not close. So that was just really cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, fun.
It was
Um,
beautiful.
and so we went back to your home, your Nana's home,
Mm-hmm.
and had a meal and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of a little celebration with the family.
Yep, my
But
friend Drea was there.
yeah, yeah, a lot of people were there. And so that was really fun. That was a good time. And then was it after that we went and hung out with Drea?
Well, we went back to take care of Haley and chill,
Mm-hmm.
and then we went to Drea's app.
Okay. Um, and then yeah, Haley's the cat, and
Yeah.
then we went back there also later because
Mm-hmm.
that's where we spent the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went and hung out with Drea. Shout out to Drea, good friend. Um, our first mutual friend, I suppose.
In person.
In
Our first
person.
mutual friend here,
Yes,
because we have
yes,
mutual friends from Tin Can.
yes, exactly. Our online friends. Shout out to all you too. Hopefully, some of you are watching. Um, and yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah.
We were just kind of chilling, I guess. At that point, we went. You showed me the Milwaukee skyline. We got a picture up there.
Mm.
Where we're kind of doing the pose. I got my arm around you. We're
Got my head
smiling.
on his shoulder.
Yeah,
The
you
skyline's
know.
behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And Drea's like, "Oh yes,
We're
so
on
cute."
top of a little hill that kind of oversees the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because, again, this weekend wasn't the same for you as it was for me. So the second he went to the bathroom, I was like, "Okay, Drea, what do you think? What do you think about him? Isn't he cute? Like, do you think like we're cute? Do you think we could? Do you like him? Like, like sometimes you like want that confirmation from your friend when they're seeing somebody and like interacting with someone else, like you do kind of want that confirmation. Like, am I just all heart eyes for somebody who like maybe isn't the right
Mhm.
thing for me? Can you confirm this? And she's like, yes. And the way he keeps looking at you, girl, is so cute. Like, he's so like enthralled by you. He's just listening to every word that you're saying. He's so kind and all this stuff. She's like, and the way that you guys interact together, yes. Like, so definitely, you didn't know that was what was going on, but
No,
that's what you're
I was
saying
just
behind your
going to the
back when you were
bathroom.
going pee.
Yeah,
It was a very quick conversation, but all that was said in the like couple
yeah.
minutes
And
that
then
you
I
were
come back
gone.
out and you guys are just on
Like,
your
oh,
phones. It's like, yeah,
yeah, nothing's happening.
yeah.
We're not saying anything. We're not talking about you. Yeah.
So yeah, me just totally oblivious to any of
Yeah, he
that.
just came and sat down and was like,
Just having a good time,
yeah.
you know. um, yeah. So then we went back. Hold on, I want to tell this. This is funny. Well, I guess we don't have to tell this story, but it is a funny story. When we went, oops, sorry, hit the microphone. When we went back to the house that you were house sitting for, taking care of the cat, we were just hanging out, and I think we were in the living room trying to like find something to watch on TV. Um, and
Yeah.
suddenly this, like somebody calls, um, and it goes to the answering machine. It goes to voicemail. So we're ignoring it. We don't think anything of it. And then we hear this he ho ho ho
Uh.
hoo hoo hoo,
So
and then it
weird.
just beep. That was it, and we were like,
Like,
"What?
what was that?
Like,
Who was that?
did you hear that? Like, where did
I'm
that?"
just cracking up,
Oh my
literally
goodness, it
crying,
was
laughing.
so funny.
And
Like
it's, yeah.
you you had to be there, but like just imagine us like scrolling on the TV, like trying to find
Just
something
like
to
from the
watch,
other
and
room.
just suddenly you hear that on the answering machine from the other room. That was so random and so funny.
It's
Um,
funnier now too because you actually know her. So
yeah,
you know, like if someone's calling her doing something like that, it
yeah,
tracks because
yeah,
she's such a goofball. I love her.
yeah,
It's my mom's godmother, and she's just the
yeah. She's
greatest.
great.
So
Yeah,
just like knowing her, and now that you've interacted with her, like
yeah.
you would expect people to
Of
call her
course,
doing random
her
stuff like
friends are
that,
also
like
just yeah,
goofballs.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
that
so
was
that was
really
just
funny.
funny. We also were trying to light this fire pit she had outside,
A
and
nice one. It had like those little glass crystals in the middle.
yeah, we could not figure it out. And then she
Yeah,
showed me when she got back, and I was honestly embarrassed because we definitely should have been able to figure that out.
we
We
just had
like
to put a
opened it up.
flame.
Yeah, we literally opened it up underneath. We like
Yeah,
unhooked it, hooked it
I was
back
like
up. We were
crawling
like
underneath.
checking the gas tank, like turning all the knobs, just making sure. Yeah,
We got it
it was
open to
on.
where
It
like
was
the gas. We
fine.
just needed to like give it a little flame to actually light it.
I've never used gas stuff. Like whenever we build campfires now,
Yeah,
we use wood. So like we just didn't know what was going on. I didn't know you just literally had to light it.
I should have known that.
It makes sense though.
Because like I used to have like sometimes when you have a gas stove, like
Yeah, I
it
did that too
sometimes
at
it just
Nana's.
like it doesn't light with the ignition thing, so you have to just give it a little bit of like a grill lighter
Yeah.
to make it light. But anyway,
Yeah, that was the last
yeah,
night.
so that's where we, and then we were going to sleep after. I feel like we did watch something, or we were watching
I don't know what we
some
watched.
things. I
I
don't
don't know.
remember. Oh, we were we were watching um uh Osmosis Jones.
Oh
That's
my gosh,
that's
I
what we were watching.
was that the night we were watching Osmosis Jones?
Yes.
Oh, and it was, yeah, okay, pretty funny.
Yeah. We were watching Osmosis Jones, which I had never seen before, and we didn't finish it.
No, we didn't.
But Bill Murray, um, so obviously it's a classic. I know now that it's a classic and would definitely watch it now, but um and isn't the guy who plays isn't it Eddie Murphy that plays Osmosis Jones, or like who is? It's
Isn't it Chris Rock?
Chris Rock. That's right. I get them mixed up sometimes. Yeah, their voices to me like sometimes sound similar in my mind, even though they don't actually sound similar in real life. But you're right. Anyway, yeah, so we were watching that, and then it was time for bed, and we ended up crawling into the same bed that night.
We did. That
But
was not okay. But we
yeah,
did do
that was
that.
crossing a line a little bit.
It was
But I
crossing
think
a line a lot of it.
I think you were very sad because at first there was
I
two
was.
bedrooms, so
There's like 3 bedrooms
yeah,
in there.
there was plenty of
and like a
spaces
bunch of couches. Like
where
he
I
got a
could have
decent
been
house.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Was that the two that we were like trying to figure out my songs, or was that late? That was a different time.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
We were like downstairs playing the piano. That when I already lived here.
That was when you already lived
Okay.
here, I think. Yeah.
Never mind. Anyway, we had a good night
We've
together.
house sat for her multiple times, so that's
Yeah.
why we were like confused a little bit.
We had a good night together, and now it was over, and I was gonna sleep in this room, and she was gonna sleep in that room. But then I can't remember how this happened exactly, or if you were just like, hey, you know, like, can you just like come in here and hang out with me, and
Yeah.
then I did.
Yeah.
And we ended up falling asleep in the same bed together. And that actually reminds me of something. I won't tell this story,
Okay.
but the actual funniest thing that's ever happened that night. I won't tell
Wow.
this
It
story.
wasn't that night.
Yes, it was.
It was?
Yes.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, dude. Fine.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I won't.
Oh my goodness. I thought that was the next year when we were there again.
I don't think so. No, because it wasn't. It was before we even started dating or anything. Yeah, so.
Fine. I'll say it.
Oh, you want to say it?
It's fine.
So, first I'll say we were in the bed together. We did not touch each other.
We did not kiss. We did not have sex. We did not cuddle. We did not spoon.
Nope.
We did not caress each other. We
did
not. We turned opposite each other to the outsides of the bed.
Yes, we did. And I think I was still up on my phone, and you had fallen asleep at that point.
I cannot believe you didn't tell me this was our first night ever together.
Yes,
farted.
I did. You just
I farted. That's what happened.
While I was up on my phone,
and he didn't tell me until like a year later.
No, I told you later. It wasn't a year later. Whatever I did, you were mad at me because you were mad that I didn't tell you. Like, you were mad that I didn't like wake you up. I'd be like, you farted. You didn't just fart
embarrassed.
either, baby. It was loud. Like, it was just like surprising to me.
After this whole weekend of me in my cute little dresses, trying to take you on these fun dates, trying to be all cute.
Oh man,
I
laughed out loud. It was so funny. But and I think I was like, Rayanne, just like to see if you were awake, and you weren't, which was even more funny. It was just so good. Oh man, farts are always funny, but especially then. So
I'm so annoyed.
Yeah, I think I told you.
I did not know it was that night.
I'm pretty sure
you did not tell me it was that night.
Yes, I did.
I really.
I did.
Maybe I'm I'm sorry. I'm misremembering.
You're blocking it out of your memory.
I really am. I might just be misremembering.
I think I might not have told you until
it was
the 4th of July later. Like, and then I was.
You definitely told me later than that.
I don't know about that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was our first night together. Yeah. So it was definitely not sexy.
No.
Nothing like that.
The opposite.
Wow.
But I thought it was really funny, and I don't know,
Well, as long as you're entertained.
for some reason it was kind of endearing, you know, like I don't know, like definitely wasn't like
Humanized me a little
yeah,
bit.
it wasn't yeah, exactly. Like it's not like I was like ooh, you know, so
Ugh.
attractive. No, not like that. Obviously, I'm not that weird, but there was just something like now we've broken that barrier, like you
But I
know,
didn't know that.
yeah.
Anyway, so we went to sleep after
hmm
I was a gassy girl, and
Now I was supposed to get on the bus early the next morning.
yeah, but I didn't want you to because I was very sad. You're right. You're definitely right with that. I was very sad. I was like, oh my gosh, like when am I gonna see him again? And I told him, I was like, I'm gonna just drive you to the airport. I'm gonna let you sleep in. We're gonna get breakfast together. I'm gonna drive you so
Mhm.
I have some time with you to listen to music and talk and be in the car.
Yeah, because the for some reason the only bus route out there
Super
was
early.
way earlier than I actually needed to be. So I would have just been waiting at the airport anyway, and it would have kind of sucked.
Yeah.
So
It felt like a wasted
yeah,
opportunity to have a little more time together.
so yeah, we ended up getting like 2 or 3 more hours together.
hmm
Probably more like three and a half because of the
Yeah.
fact that obviously the driving time also was time spent together. Um, so that was nice. We got to sleep in a little bit. Um, oh no, we went and got bagels. Went to Brugger's.
Oh yeah. Got some breakfast sandwiches. Best kind of sandwich,
hmm
I think.
Oh yeah,
You guys can let us know what your favorite kind of sandwich is, but
yeah,
I think it's a good breakfast sandwich.
yeah. Comment your favorite kind of
They're
sandwich.
not all equal, but they're all pretty good, even if they're not
hmm
the greatest.
They have like specialty ones too. It's kind of like Einstein Bros a little bit, but local and
I
so
like
better.
Einstein's better, to be honest.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I do.
Well, to each their own, you know. I like burgers. Anyway, so so yeah, we ate those on the way there. Um, and yeah, we were listening to music, we were talking, we were in the car on the way, and closer that we were getting to Chicago, the more and more sad you were looking over there as you were driving me. Um, you
Yeah.
started crying a little
I'm
bit.
starting to cry again
Yeah.
because it was hard.
hmm Um, and this was really like that and the night before was like my first indication, really, that you were feeling the same feelings towards me that I was feeling towards you. Because again, I was trying to be very respectful. I was careful not to make any moves or do anything
Thank you.
like that, you know.
He didn't have consent.
Yes, that's true. I didn't. And I didn't want to just assume like I didn't
hmm
know anything. You know, I didn't want to look like an idiot.
And that also just wasn't the conversation for the weekend, you know.
Yeah, that's not
The
what it was
conversation
about.
was centered around the Lord. So,
Exactly.
and I think upon seeing that as well, that pushed me even more to be like, yeah, no, I want this. So the whole last day, I was like, I have to kiss him. I was like, when am I going to kiss him? Am I going to kiss him when he wakes up? Should I kiss him before breakfast so my breath doesn't smell like eggs? Should I kiss him after I put a mint in my mouth? Should I kiss him in the car? Should I kiss him at the red light? Like this whole time. And I'm just like building up, building up, building up all day, just stalling. In my mind, this was the plan. You didn't realize I was procrastinating
Mm-mm.
on my plan for the day, the whole day up until literally the last second.
Well, and I'm kind of glad that you didn't like kiss me earlier in the day because then that might have just been like all we did that day. It
It was
was
just like
just
kiss each
kiss
other
each
all day.
other.
Ugh.
Yeah. Which would have been a way different experience than what it actually was.
Yeah, so we're
So you
driving.
were
I'm starting to play increasingly
sad
sadder
music.
music.
Yeah.
Because I'm a
Yeah.
dramatic.
And
and
I
yeah.
reached over and I started holding your hand
Sorry,
because
this episode's really corny.
yeah,
Because
because
he
you were
needed to
you were
comfort
sad
me.
and you were starting to cry a little bit, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I reached over and I held your hand, and we held hands for probably like the last
Just in
15
silence.
minutes of the car ride, and um got to the airport. You dropped me off where I needed to go. I got out. I got all my bags out of the car, and you uh just as you were saying goodbye to me, I think I like went in for a hug, and you grabbed my face and pulled me in and kissed me. Um
And then I ran away.
yeah.
I walked away so fast. I was like, no, gotta go. Sorry.
Okay, bye. And
I'm so
just
awkward.
yeah, and it was just a quick kiss too, you know, just
Yeah, it wasn't like
just a second, you
anything
know.
crazy.
Yeah. And
Because I was trying to run away the second I did. I was like,
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
go. I'm
You
out of
just
here.
didn't want to deal with any of the aftermath of that.
Nope, nope.
And um I've told this story before to some people and to you obviously, but this is like my favorite part of the story is that like after that I walked into the airport and I just felt like I was just floating through the airport. Like I could have been like skipping, like just slow motion, like through the security line, just
Like handing people
floating.
flowers, like
Yeah, yeah.
like
Just
Disney princess moment.
absolutely just floating through the security line. With my bags behind me.
It's like a
Oh my
cartoon, like a
goodness,
Looney
yeah.
Tunes character.
Exactly. Exactly. Um and probably my face was just like all red. I just like pulled my hood over and was just like smiling like yeah, it was awesome.
And I was driving home like, like totally different.
Yeah.
Just freaking out. I'm like, oh no, what did I just do? What did I just do? I'm so weird.
I'm like I
I'm
can't.
like crying. I'm like tense. I had to pull over. I couldn't even keep driving. I had to pull over for a second. I stress ate some chicken fingers from Culver's. I called Dre. I was like, oh my gosh, you won't believe what I just did. Losing my mind, just freaking out.
And I was on the airplane like and I was just like I do remember thinking like okay, I can't text her right now. Like I gotta wait. I gotta just let this simmer, let it marinate. And then we'll go you know, like once I get home, once I'll just let her know I landed safely, and then we'll restart our conversation after that.
Yep.
And that is what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll I guess we'll get into what happened next time.
Yeah.
Because this is
That was the beginning of a long distance romantic relationship, not just a friendship.
Still, we
And
weren't officially dating just yet.
not yet,
Just
but
yet.
that was the beginning of it.
Uh-huh.
The ball was in my court, and I shot my shot.
And just swish.
All net.
Yep.
All net.
Yep.
Buckets. Sorry, we've been watching basketball lately, so it's just what's on my mind.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks so much. I think just something to kind of take away from it is, you know, it's okay to keep asking God for a confirmation for things, especially big spiritual decisions and
big
physical
relational
decisions. Yeah, you know, just what you're doing in your life. Like it's okay to keep asking God for confirmation, because He will give it.
He will.
A lot of the time.
He will, and sometimes He'll answer way later than you thought.
Right. And
or
in a way different way.
And it's always perfect timing.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
He's just great at what He does. Shout out the Lord.
Yeah. And, you know, if you've been watching all these episodes now, you can kind of see that, like, it kind of feels like this has taken a long time to develop, and, you know, it's been a slow burn. But all this stuff is also up until this point, it's been less than a year of time from the time we met until the time where we are in our story right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's the end
so
of May in the story.
yes, yes, and we met in like late June of the year before. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
That's pretty quick. If you think
it
about it.
was it was pretty quick. So it was a quick turnaround, and there was a lot of transformation in each of us in that
Yes.
period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we mentioned that, like, when you get with God, it's not like you instantly become holy and you like don't instantly become sanctified. But if you really submit yourself to God and are like making an effort to follow his commandments, then he will continuously change your heart and he will turn things around and he will bless you
Amen.
quickly.
Yes, he
He
will.
wants
He
to.
is faithful.
He's waiting
Come
to.
on, preacher.
Yeah, like
He will do it.
yeah, it doesn't mean that everything in your life is just going to go right after that,
Yeah. But when you look back,
Right.
oh my
You'll
goodness,
see he was
reflection
closing
is a beautiful
doors that
thing.
you needed to be closed. He was opening doors that you needed to open.
He worked it out for your good if you love him.
Right.
Works things out for the good of those who love him for his glory.
And who are
And
called
here we
according to
are.
his purpose. So,
Yes.
yes. Um
Yeah, I
and
missed that part.
we
Thank
had a
you.
we had a purpose together. And part of that is this. Part of that is being able to tell our story with you guys. Hopefully, it's encouraging to you. Hopefully, it's a blessing to you as much as it is for us to be able to tell it. So,
Yeah.
stick with us. I think we're going to continue telling our story up until, probably up until just like the wedding, right?
Okay.
So we got like another year of time to sort of wrap into some of these episodes.
Yeah. There's
But
some other deeper themes coming.
yeah, there's some other hardships. It wasn't just all sunshine and roses
Yeah, we
after
weren't just
this.
floating around,
Yeah,
frolicking everywhere.
yeah.
Going forward, it actually.
I wish I could tell you that we were just happily ever after at that point, but
Nope.
that's not how real life works. It's not how real relationships work. And I think we would be being a little bit disingenuous to you if we made it seem like, you know, yeah, well, we got over our issues and just everything was great after that. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're there's still some other things to tell about. So we'll get to that in the coming episodes. But thanks so much for watching episode 6, guys. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Yeah, subscribe to Media Unlimited. There's a lot of other content coming down the pipeline
Oh
as
yeah.
well from ourselves and also from a couple of pastor friends and potentially some other friends as well who will be telling their stories. There'll be teachings. There'll be other podcasts on a bunch of other different topics. So stay tuned to that. That's why you need to subscribe and ring the notification bell next to the
Yes.
subscribe button so you can see anytime Media Unlimited posts anything, including shorts and videos. So, yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you guys in the next one.
Have a blessed day.
Peace.
In Jesus' mighty name.
Amen.